I'm Father Clark Sample. I'm the Episcopal Vicar for Clergy and the Secretariat Director for Clergy Formation and Chaplaincy Services, which means I oversee the Catholic Chaplain Corps. And I've been in this role for just under 2 years now. So the mission of the Catholic Chaplain Corps is to bring Christ to especially the infirm people in the hospitals around the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston. And my role in that is to really facilitate the process of having priest chaplains work in the Catholic Chaplain Corps. It's bigger than just priest chaplains. There are tons of volunteers. But my main role as I oversee it is really helping the priest chaplains work in the Catholic Chaplain Corps to bring that healing ministry of Christ. With the lay staff and all the volunteers, they really work to really prioritize the priest's time. So, every baptized person is called to be Christ. They all have their unique vocation to live their Christian lives in the world. And so we have a lot of lay volunteers who are going around and visiting people in the hospitals, and they can kind of triage the situation to see when a priest might be most needed in those situations. So DSF funds the Catholic Chaplain Corps. That will include the salaries and the living expenses of all the priests and also the lay employees. And why the faithful should contribute to the DSF appeal, especially concerning the Catholic Chaplain Corps, is because no one parish can fulfill all these ministries. In fact, all the priests who are in the parishes are very thankful and appreciative of all the chaplains we have, because it lets the priest focus on the parish ministry itself, while these chaplains can really work in the hospitals. So for anyone who's in the parishes, if they give to DSF, they're directly contributing to any ministry that might be happening in the hospitals within the Archdiocese.
Hi, my name is Trish Hessel. I have been involved with the Catholic Chaplain Corps for approximately coming up on 3 years now, and I serve as a pastoral visitor at Baylor St. Luke's in the Medical Center. So it's been very impactful in my life. I've grown spiritually, but one of the major things, as you discern and then go into training in the foundation course, one of the things that you learn a lot about is empathic listening. And it was a challenge for me at first, because when people speak and they're telling their story, a lot of times I found I wanted to jump in and try to provide advice or fix something. And what I learned through the foundation course is really just about being present for the individual and truly listening, kind of being that open person, kind of getting rid of all of my things and just being open and available for that individual and being present in the moment on the journey from where they're coming. Just an example of a visit that I had recently. It's not always that you have a patient's name and you know exactly who you're going to be seeing. Sometimes you're stopped in a hallway and a nurse may say, "Ooh, can you please step into this room? This patient just had very difficult news." And most recently there was a patient that a nurse asked me to go in and see, who had just found out that they were not able to perform her transplant surgery, and that this was just devastating for her. And she was really had all of her hope on that answer, and it wasn't the answer that she had prayed for and wanted to hear. And so when I stepped into the room, I listened and heard about her frustrations and her sadness, and that she still held on to some hope, that there were 2 other hospitals in the United States that were still considering her for transplant. So we prayed about it, and I stepped out of her room and I went down and got Holy Communion to bring back to her from the chapel. And when I returned to her room, she was elated and tears streaming down her face, and she said, "Oh my gosh, you left, and I got this call from Duke University and they want to do my transplant and I need to get on a plane." And I was, oh my gosh. Now, does this happen every day? Absolutely not. But this, for me, was a huge, just a power of, oh my gosh, you hear the power of prayer, but sometimes you're not a witness to it right in the moment. But for this particular patient and for all the staff that were present, it was huge. It was like, oh my gosh, there is still hope. Now, I don't know how her story, I don't know how everything ended. I don't know what happened, but in that moment, I was like, wow, you know what? The Holy Spirit is present. They are here. They are working through us. So that was a moment I'd like to share. Through your support, whether it be financial or giving of your time to the ministry, we make such a difference for patients, their families, and also for the doctors and nurses that work tirelessly caring for the patients that are here. And so, I'd like to just put out an appeal for the continued support of the ministry. For those of you that don't have, time to volunteer, or maybe this isn't your calling, this isn't your ministry, just being able to give, financially it's huge for the work that we are able to do. Jesus' work, to be present for those that are hospitalized. For those of you that might be listening and thinking, this might be something I'm interested in doing, please reach out to the Catholic Chaplain Corps. We are always in need of volunteers to bring the presence of Christ to families, doctors, nurses, and patients that are here in our hometown of Houston. And we're expanding. We're trying to expand out to the corridors that lie outside of the medical center. And so please continue your prayerfulness for our ministry, and also your donations and your giving of your time. Thank you.